Morning. Let me take you through another new episode. This episode will be talking about on personal budgeting. Now, normally, as an individual, as a professional, especially it's important these days. Now, for example, post this pay tax 36%, 24%, whatever this high pay tax, most of the professionals got into trouble of managing their income levels. That is where you have seen a lot of individuals is moving out from Sri Lanka because your personal pay tax, your personal taxes, which is hitting your gross salary, is going up. Then you have your indirect taxes are going up. Then your whatever the additional incomes you are trying to get, sometimes through the lecturing, sometimes through consulting, those are getting taxed. And so you, bigger chunk, for example, for me, majority of more than what I spend, what I earn is going through the roof as taxes. So this is, sometimes we will think this is very unfair. Yes, it is unfair. But only thing is you have two choices. Either you uh, try to make the blame and live on that, or you try to find ways to move with this, I would say move with this new norm. So that is where some people who doesn't want to move with this new norm, uh, I would say the right, and I'm not saying they are wrong. They made the choice moving out from the country because it's very difficult to bear this tax. But if you are planning to stay in this country, you have to move with this tax because you don't have a choice. You have to pay the taxes because this is you this tax, pay tax, you it will, whether you like it or not, when it comes out from your, when your salary slip comes out, it will be deducted from your salary slip. The indirect taxes, whether you like it or not, when you are going to the shop, when you try to buy something, it will hit your pocket. So there is no other choice, you have to move with this type. Then in this episode uh, I will try to give you a glimpse on things which I have used to move with this type. Now for this is not my concept, this is, you can, even if you search in the YouTube, you can find this method. We call this method as 50-30-20 budgeting. So 50 plus 30 plus 80, 80 plus 20 is 100. So I'm also using this method because I found it is one of the most practical ways, so one of the most best ways to, first thing is to understand your where you spend. Second thing is to redirect some of the non-value or uh, unnecessary uh, spending items into the right quadrants. So let me just give you the how it works. Now 50%, the major chunk of your spend will go for, this is in a norm, will go for your mandatory payments. Now for example, mandatory payments will be items which you cannot forego. Now for your the groceries, your home, for monthly groceries like your rice, your vegetables, whatever, the milk powder, these are mandatory things. Now if you are a very good manager of your home, I know you will have a number, give or take rough number, what will be the number for your groceries per month. If you don't have, I will urge you to do that because if in this situation you need to have a count on each and everything which you are spending. So it's very important you have a number even in your groceries. And if it is possible, try to see which grocery item, these are some extra things which I'm trying to tell you, that which grocery items you are overspending, and see whether these grocery items are really, you are overspending for these grocery items really for the need, or are do you have some uh, waste factor come in with this grocery factor? Now for example, if you see your vegetables, your spend is going up, unless the vegetable price in the market goes up. If your vegetable spend is going up, then you have to try to see whether you have a whether you are incurring any wastage in your vegetable storage, and the place you are buying vegetables, if it is not good, sometimes you will find places when you bring the vegetable, half of the vegetable goes as waste. Those things you have to analyze in this current situation. These are very small things, but it matters a lot, because you are now your um, taxes are very high. Then cash on hand will be very low, so you have to manage this for the I would say manage it in a more more I what is the right word, the manage it in a way that will not damage uh, your economy, your personal income. So it's very important you go into detail. So 50% of quadrant will comprise of groceries, which I went bit detail on the grocery segment. Then you will have the, if you have taken home loans, then you have a portion of your home loan which is you need to, it is mandatory you pay the your monthly home loan interest. So you cannot forego that. I, now somebody will think I don't have home loan. Yes, perfect. If you don't have home loan, that's good. But 90% of the professionals, they will have a home loan because they will build a home taking a loan. Because when you start your career, you don't have a big capital in your hand unless you inherit something from your parents or somebody. Then what you do is you will start with the capital of other people. That is where you will go for these loans. You can get home loans, you can get vehicle loans. All these things will come into this 50% quadrant, because you can't forego this. You have to pay it off. Then you have health and insurance. The health insurance, some normally nowadays you will have monthly as well as quarterly and yearly, all these payments. But if you take somebody who will pay monthly, that will also hit your 50%. Then utilities. Previously utilities became a very small segment of your total 50% of expenses, but now it has also make a significant spend, because the utility bills has almost increased good 2 to 3 fold from starting from electricity bill to your water bill. So if you are a person who is having a family, you will know your utility bills are going out of the roof, because it's very difficult to uh, curtail your utility after some point, because you need to, now for example last few months when you have this hot climate, you need to have your fan switch on, because if you have kids in your home, you can't ask them just don't put the fan because of your current bill goes up. So you may, then you have to switch on the fan, because they will switch on the fan. So 50% is in comprise of mandatory payments which you can forego. So when your 50% value is larger, you will see when you get your pay slip, there is a significant chunk is going for mandatory payments, and cash in hand will come down. This is the common phenomena currently most of the professional is going through, because your 50% items in 50% is bearing a large portion of your salary. Whether it's right or wrong, this is how it works in the current setup. Then you have another 30%. 50% you don't have choice. You have to pay, we call as needs. Then you have 30%. 30% we call as wants. This is the area where you can make choices. Now for example, I will give a very simple example, this 30% wants. If you are a family, normally when you are having a family, where most of the kids, especially kids, they would like to go into a fast food outlet, restaurant, at least once in 2 weeks. Then when you go for shopping, they'll say, Tati or Appaji, can we go to the KFC? Can we go to the Burger Hut? Can we go to that restaurant? Can we buy these things? So these are expenses which is not mandatory for you to incur. But in order to have that, what you call this, better life, I would say, to satisfy the requirement of your family members, you compel to go into this. Then you have parties. You will now, for example, in the professional life, you might have to week. Sometimes some people go weekly with their friends for parties. They go for evening parties, spend on that, and sometimes in the when it comes to the season, you have different Nuvareli season. Then you go for down south, different parties are there, so you have to spend on those things. Then you have dining. Now, for example, some people will have a spend on sometimes in weekly basis for dining. Dining means they go out for dinner, they go out for lunch. Those dining will comprise of this 30%. And sometimes your hobbies. Now if you are a person having a hobby which will have spend a monthly bill. Now for example, if you are interested in playing golf, if you are interested in watching movies, this will have a monthly spend. Now if you want go into watch a movie in a good theater, it will cost you good few grands from your monthly salary. So those are the 30% which is want. It's not need. This is a want. So difference is need and want. Need you cannot forego, but wants you can, if you decided, you can forego, you can reduce. So this is where you can capitalize and reduce, get some out of here, and try to manage the expense hike in your 50%. Next is your 20%. 20% is your savings. Savings, sometimes these savings are netting off your debt. For example, you will have your credit card. Credit card debt you will be netting off in this 20%. Then you took a education loan. So it's a investment, it's a saving, but you will be netting off the loan payment through this 20%. You have invested in a pension scheme. This is an investment, it's a saving, but you will be netting off the monthly payment through your 20%. And you will sometimes, for example, person like me, which I used to do is, I have this is which I have started in 2000 around 2020 to 21, which I developed this something called emergency fund. If you are a person who is developing emergency fund, there will be another portion is going for this emergency fund, which I will do a separate video on how you can build your emergency fund. So now we will see how you when you budget, how your requirements or your income will be split. So 50% is you can't help it out, you have to those things you have to let it go, that is need. Then you will have 30% bond and 20% saving. So best place you can manage is this 30%. Loss in any element in this 30% will not hurt or will not damage your needs, or which will not disturb your regular life. So in this current economic situation, I urge you to do this analysis. Where your 50%, where your 30%, where 20%, and try to see under this 30% which you can take it out and compensate that for 50% within your 50%, whichever the item is increasing. Otherwise, you will find it very difficult to manage your monthly paycheck because of these high taxes, increase in the commodity prices, and every month you will find you are lacking in money. And what will happen then? You will, to compensate that, you will try to go into routes which will further put you into trouble. Hence, I urge you, just do this exercise, this 50-30-20 model budgeting for your this month, and try to see how, where out of these 30%, where what are the things you can curtail and manage your paycheck for the month without disturbing your activities. So if you guys have anything on this topic, you guys can ask, because I am telling this with my experience. I have done this, I am using this. So if you guys have anything, just drop me a comment on this topic. I'll be doing a separate video on this emergency fund, which is will be a very interesting topic, and which will definitely help you guys on the in this current situation. So if you guys have again any questions, drop me a message. If you guys think there is another area you want to cover in the future videos, drop me a message. If you guys think this video is helpful, give a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed our channel, just please make sure subscribe and share with your friends.